Welcome to the Warren Cycling Podcast. My name is Dean Warren. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia today.
And I'm Randy Warren, and I'm in Asheville, North Carolina again.
Yeah, it's good to have you back at your home, even though your home's not totally all together there, and you're on a hotspot too from your phone, so you don't have internet. So not everything back to normal quite yet for you. It'll take a while, but a little bit better than my shape because I'm not home yet. I haven't been to my house in Sarasota after the latest hurricane. So Helene disrupted your household, and I've got Milton that just passed through Sarasota. And it looks like from videos I've gotten, the video sent from neighbors, looks like the house is okay, just no power. So I'll be working a trip though, and actually heading over to Milan tonight to be there for the last monument this year at Lombardy. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, that'll be cool. And you got your press pass. You'll be able to get into areas that are not available to the average person. Have you decided already where you're going to be for watching and taking pictures and interviewing and stuff?
Yeah, I think the finish is the most accessible place to be able to get to do the interviews afterwards. That's what we like to get, the audio clips that we can. If I get out on the course, since there's no circuit, so it'll go by me, and then I'd have to try to get to the finish, which I won't have any transportation. So
they only have a press vehicle sometimes that shuttles people around.
I had that at the Tour of Flanders. They took me out on the course, but I couldn't get back in time for the finish there. And I remember Tour of California, sometimes they'd take you up to a mountaintop finish area just because they didn't want so many vehicles going up there. And that was where the finish was. So you wouldn't be able to go from point to point. I think the best photographers, the top ones, to get the motos, that's the best way to do that. And I've only been able to do that like once at the Tour of Lombardy, I think, and once at the time trial World Championships in Italy. On the back of a motorcycle. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So this episode 368 of the Warren Cycling Podcast, and we're just a day away from the last of the monuments, almost the last of really. A lot of riders are going to be taking off after this weekend. There's still a few random races going on, and there's another World Tour race, the one in China, coming up a little later. Some riders are retiring even after this weekend, and some are going to be out of contract. And yeah, I'm kind of like,
is that a World Tour race
about this?
The Cavendish is doing? That's a World Tour race in Singapore?
No, he's racing in Singapore. No, this is in China. There's a stage race that's coming up still.
Okay.
But UAE Emirates is chasing the record of most team victories. They're around 80 now, 85, I think. HTC High Road had
84. Roman was Tadej Pogacar. No, actually, that's not true though. They
had 20. No, they have 20 riders now that have had wins this year. But Tadej Pogacar's 24 wins, and almost all but one or two are World Tour races too. So it's just incredibly impressive of him racing so far, including this past week, Giro dell'Emilia, last weekend, that he soloed again, long solo attack. And then there was the Tre Valley race that he could have added to his tally, except for it was raining so hard. They said the manhole covers were coming up. They said a bunch of broken wheels right in the neutrals. So like, how are they breaking wheels with the rain? But the rain was so hard that they couldn't see on the descent. And I think for the first time I was feeling like Tadej Pogacar is kind of, he's been like a young star rising, of course, and winning already Tour de France years ago, but he's 26. But it seems like now he's coming into the age, maybe he's going to be the new patron, the new leader of the peloton, to start making the decisions that older riders typically would make, the really good ones, to say, hey, we can't race in this, and everyone will listen to him and agree, and they
cancel that race. It says they canceled no result. I didn't even see that news about it. I unfortunately have been preoccupied with the with the hurricane stuff too, so I've not been able to keep up as much. But yeah, I just was looking, and it says no result for everybody. So they says initially 2 local laps of 16K were removed due to heavy rainfall, shortening the race from 200.3 to 168.3. Finally, after 57.9K of racing, it was decided to cancel the race completely. And that was Tadej. Tadej was the one who kind of spoke up for that. Is that right?
That's what it appeared in the report that I saw. So,
Uh,
the racers,
yes.
but yeah, if I had
This
a
was
question, if I could ever interview him now, that would be my question for him. Like, do you feel yourself coming into that role of the peloton patron? I mean, now you're maturing in, because he's more kind of a free-spirited rider that I see that's out there just attacking away and leaving everyone in his dust and enjoying racing, but not, now he's becoming more of the, I guess, the top dog. I mean,
Well, for sure. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And he's different, different kind of commanding presence too. So like Jonas just does stage races basically. He doesn't really do many one-day things, and his personality isn't as out there as Tadej's is. He's much more reserved in terms of his public persona and stuff too. So it seemed like he might, command a presence inside the peloton, but doesn't really, not as much with the people outside that and stuff too. So, like maybe not with the organizers as much. I don't know. It's hard to say. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
Not with the media, certainly. He doesn't know with the media, but maybe he
Other
does with
riders you could see in that role might be like a Primoz Roglic, because he's one of the best riders too. But I don't know. I don't feel like he's been a voice of a peloton so much before.
No.
And Matteo van der Poel would be as well. Remco Evenepoel probably more so. I mean, he's a lot younger, but he's always speaking up about conditions, but not so much that he's commanding like the peloton's voice, but more that he's talking to the reporters afterwards and saying how bad things were.
Yeah.
And speaking his mind more freely.
Yeah, and Tadej came into it more into his role as the best rider in the peloton more gradually. Where Evenepoel had all this fanfare when he first came in at 18, 19 years old, and he had to live up to expectations and stuff too. So it's different.
He has more brashness anyway. Too.
Yeah, Tadej's kind of grown into this role where he's gained prominence and stuff within and outside the peloton. He's earned it more, in terms of that. Where it seemed like Evenepoel kind of had it handed to him and then had to refight back to get it back and stuff too. So. And same thing with Matteo van der Poel too, in that, because he came in from a cross background, and so
right. He's not like a full-time road racer as much, or seemingly not, although he is.
Yeah, but it's certainly not throughout his career,
No.
Yeah. Same thing with Roll. So yeah, there are a number of people who are like proficient in their winning, prolific in their winning, and proficient, but. Yeah, I mean, Tadej's just that is certainly, I wouldn't say unique necessarily. People use that a lot. They'll say it's very unique, whatever, because unique doesn't have variabilities to it. You're either unique or you're not. But he is more of that throwback kind of rider where, even Sean Kelly, he was the last person like that too that would win. Well, he didn't win Grand Tours, but he did well in Grand Tours, but he did every kind of race. Not too many people do every kind of race and do well in every kind of race. And so I think that commands a different kind of respect that we haven't had anybody do that for a long time.
Right, but he doesn't have the persona of like a Bernard, who would like grab somebody on the podium and throw them off if they weren't supposed to be there or something like that.
Or punch a protester when they're protesting the Tour de France and stop the race one time. He punched a protester. Was like an iron fist. He was a different personality for sure, and still is kind of an iron fist.
Yeah.
he said throwing the people off the stage. Yeah. Tadej's a very likable person. People love him. He's he looks like he's having fun on the bike. I think I mentioned before that I've heard Colnago. I mean, their sales have been really strong when other brands have been suffering, and they say a large part of that is due to Tadej's being their representative. And it seems like he's having fun on the bike. Like he's not suffering like everybody else. Like, if I ride a Colnago, I'll just have fun when I ride really fast. I won't suffer. So he's certainly a good spokesperson, and his English is pretty darn good too. So it's that was one thing with Peter Sagan. He didn't know English at all hardly when he started out, and worked really hard to get it because he wanted to be able to be that media darling and stuff too. And you have to really be able to speak English in this day and age to do that. And Tadej's done that as well too.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing him racing in those rainbow stripes. And
what's the weather forecast? Does it sound bad weather? Why
no, actually, it's going to be some rain chance, and now it looks like it's just made cloudy, and in the mid 60s, like really nice riding weather. So
that's good. Yeah, and the question will be, will you see him by himself, and then 20 minutes later the rest of the field will come in, or will it be more exciting than that? So,
well, as a photographer, for me, I would really like to get a bunch of celebration photos of him coming in solo with this rainbow stripe. So that would be the picture I want. Our good friend Darren Dowling has redone his bike room, or got his bike room fixed up in his house, and he said, I've got some 4 frames, big frames to put cycling pictures in. And so I was trying to think but he's got them more vertical, not horizontal. I shoot more horizontally, but I think he would really like that picture too. So I'm like, oh, that's what I'm hoping to get. So it's pretty good chance that could happen. He's won this race already 3 times. I guess one of the pictures will be him holding up 4 fingers, maybe. So I don't know. His celebration at the World Championship was great because he did a lot of different poses as he came in. Unfortunately, I couldn't see any from behind the crowd where I was. You have to kind of pick with not press pass there. I haven't been to that race yet, the Lombardy. I wanted to go last year, but then I pivoted to go to the gravel World Championships to see you race. So, and then I got to stay an extra day and see Matej Mohoric win. But this year's, I guess we could talk a little bit about the gravel World Championships because it was last weekend in Leuven, Belgium. And I was watching. I think
I didn't really see very much of it, but yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a GCN recap show, their Monday show, were saying that the Paris Tours race looked more like a gravel World Championship course than the gravel World Paris Tours. They've added gravel sectors, and it was with the weather. It was a pretty epic event with riders looking like they had raced like the Paris-Roubaix pictures with the mud and stuff all over their faces, and Christophe Laporte had a nice win there. But the gravel World Championships, it turned out to be really the top road stars who have also had success off-road, with the Dutch pair of Marianne Vos winning over Lotto Kopecky. So
that was like her first gravel race, wasn't it? Was that her first one?
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And then so Marianne Vos has 14 world championships on the elite level in 4 different disciplines, which is just phenomenal that she's still adding to that tally. Yeah. And then Mathieu van der Poel is I think his 11th Rainbow Stripes. He's won 6 cyclocross. Couldn't be 11 then, could it?
9. I thought it was 9. But then
that doesn't add up.
Yeah. But he won. Yeah, if he's won 6 cyclocross, 1 road, none of the mountain bike, has he? No.
No, he wants to go for that one gravel.
That's
8. Well,
8. Yeah, I thought it was 9.
But that when I read more about that race, it was interesting dynamics because there were like at one time like 10 Belgians in the top 16 guys or whatever, but
I think they started with 39 or something like that. 39 Belgians at the start list. There's no limit to how many you can have from each country. So they had like 29 or 39 starters.
It's a huge start list too. What? It was almost 300 riders.
Yeah. They're gonna have to make that change that up a little bit because the way that it's pretty much Wild West right now with that in terms of courses, in terms of like how it's organized,
Yeah,
because it's not fair to have 39 Belgians.
It wasn't so gravelly, really. It was, but it turned out that Mathieu van der Poel had Belgians, which would be normally racing against him, but many of them were his Alpes and Phoenix teammates. So there's a lot of different dynamics. But you can't say that he wouldn't be a worthy winner.
No.
He wouldn't have won it just because of dynamics, because he was on great form already from the World Championship road race, and then it would have been crazy because he was in the mix, for that race, and well, sort of in the mix. I mean, the Tadej Pogacar show was making it difficult for anyone else to try to emerge without working with other riders who don't want to work and get beat by those they work with. So I think that's possible. It could have been, both. Marianne Vos was in a position to win the Road World Championship. I don't think Mathieu van der Poel was quite in that same position, but he was also favored. That would have been crazy if they had done both, right? Taken a World Championship and then a week later a gravel championship. So
yeah, Marianne Vos, I think she had a good day. I think the gravel worlds for sure, and she did not have the best day, and the course didn't suit her quite as much.
But she was in a situation with a teammate and 4 riders in the front, which normally would have been allowed maybe to go the distance but having their teammates chase them down. So the Dutch women really.
The Dutch women, they attacked.
Yeah, they were pulling every group that there was on the road. They had one at the front. So.
But then also too, Demi Vollering attacked and dropped the other 3 Dutch people in the final group. So she had 3 teammates and she dropped them all, and then she had to race by herself and then didn't get off on the podium. So, but that's kind of good in a way to see the Dutch not on the podium.
Yeah,
I like
it's such a dominating squad. They could fill the podium,
which they have.
So
it's not. Yeah, no. It was. Yeah, I like the way it was.
Well, we watch it for entertainment, and we're not Dutch. We like the Dutch, but I mean, I don't know. It probably feel differently if you're Dutch and you want to win, and you see your team racing that way. But I mean, even the Americans. Okay, the U.S. team though, they had a lot of riders in the front of the Road World Championships, including Nielsen Paulus, Brandon McNulty, Matteo Jorgens, and very high quality riders who have done well, and then Quinn Simmons. So those 4, if they had committed to one of those 4, they could have. I don't know. I mean, maybe they could have gotten a medal.
Quinn was 5th. Was Quinn 5th?
Ninth. He was 9th.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. And McNulty was our best finish. No, McNulty was 6th in the Olympics, right? So what's our best finish in the Worlds for a while? And I think actually
Nielsen Paulus behind you there. Nielsen Paulus was 5th a few years ago.
5th. I thought
so. Yeah. So Nielsen had rough year this year with the crash, and then it caused a knee injury, and took him a long time really to get back on top form, because up until this year, I mean, he had been performing at a super high level and long hard races like the Tour of Flanders, and finally though, it's all come back together for him, where he just tactically raced super well, and he won Grand Piedemonte just a couple of days ago.
Yeah, and he won it. So these races are purposely given to riders who are doing Lombardia as like prep races. So sometimes they'll say people that win these races are then put into the favorites list of Lombardia. So what do you think the chances of Nielsen Paulus?
Well, I think because this race, so in particular, we just we're watching the video recap where there's Filippo Ganna, Caden Groves, some faster guys that wouldn't be climbing so much, like Caden Groves, who did well. He can climb well enough in the Volta to get stage wins and and stay in the race. Not stage wins on climbing stages, of course, but to hang in there, and then or a more lumpy stage. So I would say Grand Piedemonte maybe been more that kind of a course.
It wasn't.
Lombardia is much more difficult climbs.
Yeah,
but I mean, he should be in good form, but I think it's more of a climber is going to do better there.
Yeah, but I mean, he's enough of a climber that he's certainly not a high mountain climber, but this isn't high mountains. It's more repeated climb. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see.
I think though, if like I talked to him and we heard the Americans and other teams, their goal, almost every team now racing against Tadej Pogacar, is to try to get out front early to get ahead of the race.
So when he joins,
I mean, when he goes at So that, I mean, it's going to be interesting to watch at Lombardy. How many riders are going to try to be up the road or try to
Right.
go out early?
Really
So
high
could
quality
put pressure
riders.
on.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Not just domestiques
Well,
send them up the road, sending up your potential team leaders up the road.
yeah. Yeah. I
Because you can't
thought
go with Toddy when
though,
he goes. People have tried and it doesn't work.
no, I thought I was watching the live of the Trevally that got canceled early on. I saw the breakaway and it had some like Broome Bardet and some really top riders already up the road. So I think that's
Yeah.
maybe a strategy that's going to be employed. So yeah, we'll
Yeah.
see. It'll be definitely a
It's
good.
changing the way people race. Yeah. And we even saw that in the Tour some too, where there were people sending these bigger riders earlier in the race, either for him to come up there or for him not to that day, decided not to try and go up the break. But then, of course, his teammates kept pulling back some of these breaks and stages that he felt like he didn't want to have to be going all out on, and his teammates were kind of forcing his hand too.
Right. Well, he was trying to get some teammates that did so much, they were in good shape that could maybe win a stage, possibly let them get a stage win. But
We saw that a little bit even in the
he's got
Volta
to rely
too. Yeah, we were, they were saying, Primoz Roglic was saying that sometimes he didn't necessarily want to win a stage or go that hard too, and his teammates were going harder. Which the racing is just on its head right now. It's like there's
right. But this is a 1-day race, so it's going to be total different dynamics. It's going to be all in for the team leaders, but the ones that know they can't stay on his wheel when he attacks will be trying to get up ahead. Now, Remco Evenepoel and Primoz Roglic, two riders that maybe could stay with him, didn't do so well last weekend. Remco had something in his eye. He had to pull out and stop. Roglic stopped. So not sure. And it's not sound like Remco. I didn't read the article, but the headline was that he was fatigued from the season, just for the long season. So the motivation seems more strong with Tadej being still in good fitness and shape to.
Yeah,
we'll see. But
it's exciting. Coverage starts at 4:30 here for me in the Eastern time zone, and then just think if you're in California, even 1:30. So it'd be it's early. I won't be up.
Well, better than the Tour Down Under.
Yeah, I just found out too that I have to, because my internet service hasn't been restored yet, so I have to be. I was hoping to leave and travel someplace to go for a ride, because I can't really ride in this area right now because there's so many roads closed and bridges are out. And I tried to go to an area yesterday that I thought I could ride where it wouldn't been affected by the storms, but it was. So I think I was good. My plan was to leave in the morning, go to South Carolina or something like that, ride, come back. But now I have to be here for my internet service being restored. So anyway, so I'll probably watch the race. Is the end result, and go right afterwards. Yeah. So I do get the bonus of that.
One of your planned events, though, and a big event, the Hincapie Gran Fondo, which is to be on the 19th, right? A week from Saturday. Today is October 11th.
Yeah.
October 11th is episode 368, if I didn't mention already, of the War and Cycling podcast. But the Hincapie Gran Fondo draws in a lot of, well, it's going to be difficult, I guess, to people coming from out of town if it's still hard to get different places. But they instead of canceling it, which they could have easily canceled, they decided to change to make it more of a fundraiser, a relief effort for the area. And they're going to do a circuit, 19-mile circuit, and the Piccolo will do one, Medio a couple, and the Grand.
It's 3 and 4 laps or 4 and 5 laps. Yeah, so there's only 1 lap difference between the Medio and the Grand. And
but they were able to change the course to make.
I'll stay in South Carolina, so that they're not going to go into North Carolina at all. And the money they're trying to raise $1 million, and they're going to give it to Polk County, which is the county just north of the border where Tryon and Saluda and the race goes through that normally. And so we're going to try and get money to that area. And I haven't been in that area yet, but it must have had some pretty severe damage still too. So because that'd be one area that I could go south and ride in that area. But I've heard the Brevard area isn't so bad. But yeah, I was supposed to do a race in Tryon, one of the affected areas, tomorrow, a gravel race. And they postponed it, and then they decided to cancel it altogether because who knows when things will be back to normal. And but yeah, the Hincapie, I mean, I can see for sure they're motivated to hold it because people do come in all over the country to do this. You know, a lot of people drive, but a lot of people fly in too. So the flying
is the airport in Nashville open?
Airport Nashville has been open, but the airlines are deciding on how many flights they're putting in and out. So it's not a regular schedule quite yet. And I forget it was Sun Country County or some one of those Allegiant kind of airlines.
Sun Country, yes.
They I think they were going to stop flying in here in November, and they stopped already. They said, you know,
the seasonal service they already stopped.
Yeah, and so
your peak leaf season's not happened yet, right? That draws in a lot of
not even close yet.
Tourism. Yeah. So not I mean, you're dealing with the damage and repairs on that from the hurricane damage, but you're also going to suffer the area, the people around you suffering from not having the normal tourism influx of dollars coming in for people coming to see the beautiful fall colors, Blue Ridge Parkway and that everything there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you're going to drive from the north to Travelers Rest, which is near Greenville, which is where the Hincapie Gran Fondo is, you'll have trouble with that coming through 26. There's 26 from the north is completely closed. You know, they're saying it might be till the end of next year that these highways are closed. And then Highway 40 from the west, from Knoxville area, that one's completely closed too. So it does affect things. Like
these interstates,
Yeah, we came down to the east of here, went into Charlotte and spent the night in Charlotte, and then came into Asheville during the daytime because we were worried if there wasn't power, you don't want to come in at night. And there's a curfew too, so you're not really supposed to be out and about. So yeah, but I think so. Some people might have trouble getting down to Hincapie, and also too, it's not going to be as dynamic of, you know, as epic of a ride, just because it doesn't go up to Skyuka and Green River Cove, the climbs that are really famous and stuff too. There's a pretty good little climb on the loop. It's doing a loop that the medial route usually does, and then another route, part of the route that none of them usually do, I don't think. So it'll also be fun, and they do a good job with it. And the post-ride event is always really good and stuff too. And I think it's I should look and see for sure. I think Bradley Wiggins is going to be there.
Okay, I was going to ask you. Mark Cavendish is supposed to be there.
Mark Cavendish is going to be there, and someone else too. I forget. There's a third person I think who's going to be there for the celebrity riders. Yeah, I was saying Brent Buchholzer's usually there too, but he his house, so it wasn't destroyed. I guess his garage was destroyed, and he's actually in Montreat now, so he's not in Asheville. I think they might still own their house in Asheville, but the house we're living in is in Montreat, which is an area near Black Mountain, Old Fort area that got hit pretty hard too. So, but they're okay. But I don't know that they're necessarily gonna be there.
Yeah, I mean, looking at loss of life, Milton that just went through caused a lot of tornadoes, which I think had just a handful of loss of life. Which any loss is a big loss, but your area, just I mean, in the hundreds. It's not like a mudslide in Guatemala where thousands of people sometimes perish, which is just horrendous. But still, any loss of life is a tragedy.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I was just looking to see on their website, see who the other people were coming, but yeah, they usually they have people that are, you know, they always have some stars. I did ride with Cavendish there before when he was in a little down part of his career. He was coming out of it's Jan Ullrich. He's the other person. Bradley Wiggins, Mark Cavendish, and Jan Ullrich. So so Cav was there a couple years ago when he's on Quebec. What do you say? Quebeca? Was it?
Yeah, MTV Quebeca.
Yeah, MTV Quebeca. So and he was on my wheel for a while. It's great. I have good video footage of Cav on my wheel. So he's been there before. I think Wiggins was there that year too, and I didn't see Wiggins that year, but he was there that year. This event usually it's like 3,000 people, 3,500 people, something like that. So it's a little hard sometimes to hang out with the celebrities. But yeah.
Can you pay extra to hang out with them?
Yeah, if you want to go to some other events, they have auxiliary events, you know, so a night before dinner, and then I think there's a breakfast of, actually I've got the schedule right here, but there's.
So in general, Greenville didn't suffer so much from the hurricane damage?
No, I checked with Christian Vandenvelde real quick because he lives downtown Greenville to see how badly he was affected, and he said they lost power, but that was it. Wasn't like a big, you know, they didn't have a huge damage from there, so. So Greenville wasn't really affected as much, and Travelers Rest is just north of Greenville, and it's not quite to where it's really mountainous, and so I think they're probably fine too. I guess that the Hotel Domestique, where it's based out of, which is George's and Rich's both. But yeah, there's but there's they have a warehouse sale. I'll go down there a week from today and see what that how it all looks. But they have a SRAM happy hour and then a celebrity chef dinner. It's pretty pricey for those kind of things, but I do have people I know that go to those things too. But
now all the money's going to relief efforts. So
yeah,
I mean, it's not run for profit though, right? Is it? Or...
No, usually they raise money for Meals on Wheels, and they've contributed hundreds of thousands of dollars to Meals on Wheels over the years. So that's usually the thing. So I'm assuming they pay staff and stuff. So Rich Hincapie, I think, is the president of the Hincapie organization, and they have their clothing line. They do 4 Gran Fondos, I think, now around the country. So they pay staff and stuff like that too. They all need to earn a living. But then the money they raised from this one here, generally their charity partner is the Meals on Wheels, but this year it's going to be Polk County, and they're trying to raise $1 million to donate for that too. So I'm not sure how they'll do all that. I've already paid. I paid this entry. I didn't get a comp entry. A lot of times I get comp entries, but I think it's just for regular entries, a couple $100, $200 or $300. It's not cheap for sure. But I like to support the event. It's fun. They do a good job with it, and again, for me, I always figure the better cycling is in the Asheville area, and I'll consider that even Asheville area, the better it is for me in my business too.
Sure. Well, you've got some work to catch up on. I'm sure you've got camps that you need to work on for next year already, right? You're always busy planning ahead, and even though the season's running down now, you're already looking ahead what's going to happen early in 2025, right?
Yeah, and camps there's pressure to get them earlier and earlier too, ready. So my Italy camp, I was working on really hard to get it ready in August, and then just didn't come together with the pricing on that and everything together with the pricing. And now I got that together, but now I'm delayed because of the hurricane. I haven't been able to get stuff out as much too. But that's all set. If you want to go to warrencycling.com and look underneath the 2025 Giro Sardinia camp, that's all ready to go. And then I have a camp that I do for Vision Quest, and that one's all ready to go too. But I still need to work on gravel camp and maybe a climbing camp as well too. And then housing for Triple X camp that I do for Triple X Racing in Chicago. And actually I got to ride because I was in the area, and my trip was delayed coming back because of the hurricane. I did go to a Vision Quest indoor workout and with some of my athletes there. That would have happened anyway. Early morning workout and in a new facility they have in the city. But then I also got to ride with Triple X on their team ride last Saturday, which I haven't been on a Triple X team ride for many years. Yeah, so that was fun.
Great. So but go to warrencycling.com for all that camp information. That has it all there, right? Yeah.
So, and some camps are specific to, so Vision Quest, you have to go to the Vision Quest website because it's specifically for Vision Quest people, and then Triple X too. But the Italy camp's open to anybody. And if I do the gravel and climbing camp, they'll be open to anybody as well. So warrencycling.com for that information.
All right. Well, we're going to do the birthdays. There's a women's race going on, the CMEC Women's Tour. Looks like some pretty heavy hitters. Lorena Cuevas has been taking a couple stages, but did you see Zoe Backstead? She took the individual time trial in the first stage.
So I did not see that.
Yeah,
no.
She took, and Chloe Dyker was like 9th or 10th. So it was a pretty short effort. Yeah. Well, it was like a 12-minute effort. I don't know. It wasn't very long, but
I'm looking to see real quick here. So Zoe Backstead, she's like 19, 20. How old is she now? It was a 10.1 kilometer, 6.2 miles, or 6.3 maybe. It wasn't that short.
No, well, yeah, it was relatively short. I guess not in the. I mean, I would say Chloe Dyker probably 20 plus.
10,
yeah. I would say her best events would be like a track type effort, maybe 4 kilometer, 3 kilometer, or over 20, maybe. I don't know. Depends on the parcours too.
Zoe Backstead's 20 years old. So 20 years old now.
So Megan Jasper was Megan Jasper was 9th in the stage 3. So Lorena Cuevas, she's been beating Lisa Balsamo, Lotto Kopecky, Charlotte Kuhl, some of the really top riders of the women's peloton. So that race is going on. There's a race in Venezuela I saw because Freddie Matute. Did I mention Freddie Matute, who I raced with a little bit in Florida? He was able to race at the World Championships with Guatemala.
Ah, excellent.
Yeah, so and he was on my flight coming back, so I got to talk to him a little bit. But he's 38 now, so it was 15 years ago, and we raced against each other in Florida. But he was just so excited to be there, and showed me he had a selfie with Tadej Pogacar, and
Oh,
then
that's
I
great.
looked, yeah,
Remember, like when that guy got passed from Costa Rica, he got passed by Matteo Van der Poel at the Cross World Championships, and people were saying he should drop out. You shouldn't have ridden there. But Matteo was like, no way, you should still be out there doing this too. And he was like just happy to get a picture riding
yeah,
together too.
yeah,
So it's like the some of the people in the pro peloton are also fans of the stars there too.
sure,
It's great to see that.
yeah.
So.
All right, well,
And I say more power to them. Some people criticize them saying they shouldn't be there, they shouldn't be doing this. I'm like, no way. If you qualify for whatever the rules are,
yeah.
however you can get in.
I
If they,
think he won their
so
national time trial championship this year. So
that's qualified, do you think so? Or but somehow they have things. So was it Guatemala? Is that what he said it was? Was it Guatemala?
yes, yeah,
Yeah. So they're probably developing nation status or whatever. There's these programs that UCI has to try and expand the sport and stuff. And yeah, I say do it. If you can do it, do it. Why not? It's I don't think it takes away anything at all. I think it adds to it.
yeah. Now you have me questioning it. Make sure that wasn't Honduras. That was Guatemala. Okay.
Well, one of my athletes, a good friend of mine, Paulo Urizar, he's from Guatemala, and he was just there
No,
last
Honduras. It is Honduras.
Oh, Honduras.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
Yeah, I wish
Honduras.
I wish I remember. So the developing nation status thing, I always default to that because that's how I figure everybody gets in who's from a smaller country. But it might be some other programs too. So I don't quote
He
me now.
is the national championship in the time trial this year for Honduras. So
All right, excellent.
yeah, but the birthday list, actually not. It's October 11th, and so happy birthday to my good friend Tomas, who still works for Decathlon Agir du Jour. He's on vacation in France, and man, they're getting Northern Lights pictures there on the coast of France. So Northern
I
Lights.
heard, yeah, I heard just there's some kind of atmospheric condition right now that it was much better than usual. So
happy birthday, Thomas. Also, James, my oldest son James, his birthday today. But there are a few cyclists celebrating, including Chan McRae. So he's pretty high on the list. There's not a ton of points, but he raced all the Grand Tours, and he had some pretty decent top 10 finishes as well. Chan did. So he was earlier American riders in the 90s and 2000s, racing in Europe a lot.
I'll give a shout out to Jemana Napti, whose birthday it is today too. She raced for me at Cal Poly, but she actually was going to try and qualify. I want to say Lebanon. I hope I'm not wrong with that. For Lebanon, because there was a Middle Eastern championship, and if you won that, you could go to, I think, World Championships, something like that. And so she was going to race for them, and she went over there and trained for a little bit because she is, has a big that heritage, and her family lives there sometimes. Anyway, but then the championship race was canceled due to war, so she couldn't race it.
Oh.
This is years ago. This is years ago. So, but she could have actually been at World Championships too because of the same kind of thing. So, but unfortunately, no. But it's her birthday today too. I wonder how old Jemana is.
The top rider is Javier Villa, 49. Villa Francisco. Javier Villa Francisco, 49. He won a stage at Paris-Nice before.
Wow.
Back in 2006. So
it's a big win.
But yeah, the top current rider still racing is Georg Zimmermann.
Yeah.
And he's been pretty good in getting in breakaways. He's got a stage at the Criterium du Dauphiné.
Yes, second place in the stage of the Tour. So last year.
Right, for,
he's a good quality rider.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's signed for 26.
Yeah. A couple of Americans that we like to find out. On the day we podcasted, was celebrating the birthday of Corey Davis. Davis' birthday. He's 32, and Taylor raced with him some, and I think he went with us, or he was at the race back in Trinidad or Tobago, Tour of Tobago a long time ago, and Taylor raced there.
Yeah,
he's been able to get on some different teams. He raced last year for Quebec, or not Quebec, a Q36.5.
Yeah, yeah, and he used to race
He's from
domestically.
the Atlanta area, I think, in the Georgia area.
I think I might have raced with him before. I don't do too many 1-2 pro races anymore, but occasionally I do them, and I think I've done a couple of races with him that he's done either in the area, or I raced the Masters and he raced through it, like the old Chattanooga race, something like that too. But maybe the Hincapie, I think the Hincapie, spring series races, I do those once in a while, 1-2 pros, and I'm pretty sure Corey's been in those.
All right. Well, Richard Morris is 19, so happy birthday to Richard. He's on the list today. But there's one more.
It's Brad Mena's birthday today too. He's another friend of mine. I don't know if he qualifies, if he's ever done a UCI race or not, but it's his birthday. He's definitely a really good racer back in the day too. Richard Morris. Did we get Richard Morris?
Yep.
Yep. So.
All right. 19. All right, Randy. Well, you got lots of work to do with cleanup. You don't know how to get those big trees off your lawn that are falling. Hopefully I'll get back and not have some. I saw some branches from my neighbor's tree in my yard. I've got a little cleanup, but just hoping that the power comes back on before everything gets spoiled in our freezer and refrigerator. Yeah. But that's pretty minor compared to all the other details. And yeah, I look forward to talking to you next time, and maybe I'll get to talk to some of the Americans that are racing tomorrow in Lombardy, including Larry Warbass, who's ending his time with Decathlon or Citroen.
Yeah, so, looking for a contract still. So
right.
Good luck to Larry with that. And yeah, so he has a nice article about him, both I think in both Velo and in Cycling News, about him looking for a team. So it's hard with really good quality racers. He wants to keep going. He's very valuable to the teams he's on, but it's a tough business.
Right, but he did a little broadcasting at the tour. So
he says he has options for that way, and he likes that opportunity, but he'd rather be known as the cyclist, not as the broadcaster right now. So
all right, Randy.
But yeah,
good talk to you.
He's got like those TV looks too. Like he looks like he should be a broadcaster too. And so he's
for sure.
Yeah. He's a super nice guy too. And he's done the Hincapie Gran Fondo before too. And I've gotten pictures with him one time. Just real quick story. I never know. But I was going up Skyuka, which is the hardest climb I think in the Hincapie Gran Fondo, and I was going as hard as I possibly could up this climb, and they usually do a pretty good time. And then I hear two guys behind me just chatting away, and it's Larry and George, George Hincapie and Larry Vorbas, climbing up the climb and just chatting away faster than I was going. They caught past me, and I said, "Hey, Larry," real quick too, and he goes, "Hey, Randy," and then he said, "Here, I'll talk to you when we get to the top." So after he stopped at the rest stop area, and I caught back up there, and then we chatted and got a picture and stuff together. But yeah, it just shows you the difference between those World Tour pro guys and us amateurs. Even when we're trying hard to they're so much better than us.
Yeah, and then they talk about a guy like Tadej Pogacar being on a whole another level than they are. I mean.
Yeah. There's so many different levels, and we're so far down the list of those levels too. So
yeah, but we ride for enjoyment, and we still can enjoy it. So that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
All right, Andy.
All right.
Good. Yeah, thanks. Clean up. We'll catch up with you again. Thanks.
Yeah, have fun in Lombardia.
All right, thanks. Bye now.